In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys the ultimate guide on how to run the 3-3-5 Tite defensive playbook in College Football 25. There's going to be a ton of great plays with great blitzes and great coverage shells behind them. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more defensive and offensive ebooks in the future. Let's get straight into the video. So first, let's get into some of the defensive settings that I like to run and I think you guys should implement into your games as well. In terms of the auto flip defensive play call, this is going to be up to you guys. It's kind of up to the user opinion. I like to have it off personally, but there's an argument to have it on. It really just depends if you like consistency in your setups or not, or if you're willing to just flip those defensive setups in terms of whether or not you're flipping the play. Defensive ball hawk, this is a must-have, no-brainer, must-have on. You don't even need to talk about it. Try and play the game without ball hawk, you're going to have a miserable time. Defensive heat seeker assist is definitely a setting that I'm kind of torn on. There's flip sides, there's trade-offs to having it both on and off. Having it on is going to allow you to make some of those open field tackles that without the setting you might find yourself missing, but having it off might allow you to take some better angles on things like RPOs and just runs going to the sideline. So there's kind of a trade-off. It's up to you guys. It's kind of personal opinion. I play around with it, but personally I do have it on, so that's something to keep in mind. In terms of switch stick delay, I like to have it on slight because a lot of the time I'm making a lot of pre-snap adjustments, and basically what that's going to do is if you're making a lot of pre-snap adjustments and the opponent ends up hiking the ball, it's going to have a slight delay before you can switch stick. So that's kind of beneficial if you're really making a lot of adjustments like I am. These last two, including defensive switch assist, I like to have it on. Just gives you a little bit more guided movement when you are switch sticking, which I can find to be helpful sometimes, but you can have this one off as well. And then just controlled player art. Whatever player you're on, it's going to show what their intended zone is or blitz or whatever. Just have it on. It's a visual thing. I like to have it on. It's really personal preference because it doesn't ultimately affect too much, but having it on can be a little bit helpful. So now getting into the in-game adjustments that you're going to be wanting to do. You can also change your auto-flip defensive play call in the game if you want it on or off for whatever reason, if it's game specific for you. Cornerback matchups I wouldn't touch. Defensive motion response, default I kind of leave it on. You can also have it to disabled, which I know a lot of people do. These read keys, I like to have the read key on this one on conservative and the read key on the pitch key on aggressive. What this is going to do is on your read options, your linebacker, whoever's in the read key, is going to read the quarterback every time. So it's just a basic inside zone call. And then with the pitch key, what this is going to do is it's going to focus on the running back. The reason I do this is because I think the pitch play and then the quarterback keep have the higher potential for a larger gain. So I'd rather just mitigate that right here, making my guys read that every single time. That's something we coach. It's what we're hammering home. In terms of strip ball, tackling, you're going to leave this on balance 90% of the time. There are late game scenarios where you can put this on aggressive, but even then, it's really not going to do anything because most of the time you are the one that's going to be making the tackle, and that's not going to change anything for your user-controlled player. Now, this is where it really gets interesting and with the zone flats. So when I first started playing College Football 25, I haven't played Madden in a couple years, so I was a little bit confused as to what exactly this meant. And I'm sure I'm not alone with people watching this video. You might not know what the zone drops exactly mean. What that's essentially doing is just controlling how deep your player is going to be playing when they're in this specific zone. So for flats, you're changing the zone drops for hard flats, cloud flats, and soft squat zones. I don't know what soft squat zones are, to be honest, so this is really just for hard and cloud flats. This is the same thing for curl flats. I believe this is the same for seam flats and quarter flats. So 10 yards, you're going to be playing at the 10-yard line off of the line of scrimmage. 15 yards, 20, goes all the way up to 30, which can be useful in like some later game scenarios or end-of-half scenarios. Hook zones, same thing. Where your hook zone's going to be playing. 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, 15 yards, 25, etc., etc. So the way that I like to do this, oddly enough, is something I'm going to get into here, is that the hard flat actually plays the sideline better than curl flats, seam flats, and everything in between. So the way I really run my zones are, the hard flats are kind of my deeper outside zone, which kind of makes no sense when you really think about it, but that's just the reality of it. So I'm going to put my flats on 20. I like to put my curl flats anywhere from 0 to 10, but typically I put it on 5, and then hooks, same thing on 5. These are numbers that I'm going to consistently change within the game, depending on my opponent, depending on what they're throwing. Making these adjustments can really throw your opponent off. Putting your curl flats to 0 might make them read an RPO. putting your flat zones to 30 might make him read a deeper sideline wheel route or something like along those lines. So these are some things you guys should be consistently adjusting, but stock going into a game, this is the way it looks for me. Now we're going to be getting into the first of 3 formations that I'm going to be covering. 3-3-5 mint. This is a really popular formation, and I think is probably the formation that I'm calling the most when I'm playing the game. Before you do anything, you're going to want to put your packages at the bottom of the screen. You can see it says packages. Put that to slot cornerback. What that's going to do is allow your adjustments in terms of the secondary to be normal, in the sense that they're not normal when it's not in slot cornerback. For whatever reason, you do have to do that. It's a little bit annoying. You can forget at times, but you will definitely tell if you're trying to make adjustments in the game and everything's wanky. You will notice, trust me. So the play we're going to be calling, it's really meta. It's really everywhere on college football. It's going to be LB cross 3, show 2. And the way we're going to be doing this is I'm also going to call just a route combo where 5 people are going on routes, just to try and make this a little bit more visual. The way we're going to be calling this, first thing first, let's set up the blitz. The way I do it, you can do it a lot of different ways. It's just spreading the line and taking this middle linebacker that's on the 3-rec safety side and putting him in a hook zone. This is the way that the blitz looks in terms of the blitzing players. And we can see here, I can't hold L2, which is something I normally do. But we could see, you could see where that linebacker would loop into and get pressure on the quarterback. We're going to try and get it home one time, but I do have clips that I'm going to show like online in Champs and Gauntlet where this blitz gets home consistently. You can see there who's about to get home. We ended up getting pressure from the DM. We're going to try and get this one more time, and then I'm going to get into coverage shells that I like to play. The other ways that you could set up this blitz, you could instead shift your D-line to the right. This is one way to get it as well. We can see if we can get it this way. And then you can also just pinch your D-line, and for some people this works better. But for me personally, I don't have success running it this way. You can see that the blitz actually came through there. Our linebacker just got caught. We'll go into replay here. You can see that this blitz actually got home here, and you can see where the loop would happen. Our linebacker literally is not being blocked, but he is just getting caught on the lineman for whatever reason. So this is the way it looks though. You can see this linebacker here. He's blitzing. He's going to loop around that defensive tackle and get right to the quarterback unblocked. So this is a really consistent way to get pressure. In terms of the coverage, now this is really important. The way I like to run it stock when I'm first coming out in the game is to obviously put my middle linebacker in a hook zone, but then I like to run a cover 4 shell in the background. This is done by, you can see on the adjustments, you're going to be putting each safety into an inside quarter, which is right on the right stick. You can see that adjustment there, and this goes for this free safety as well. Also, this goes back to the zone flats that we talked about a little bit earlier. We're going to be putting our linebackers and the one cornerback into hard flats because they're going to be playing that sideline really good. So you can see how deep Micah Parsons is getting. It does leave that open, but in terms of stock coverages, this is the way I like to come out, and I'm going to make adjustments off of that. So like for example there, I see you like to throw that shorter route. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it into a curl flat, which is kind of like reverse logic in real life, the way you think about it, but he's going to play that. As you can see, he's going to play that curl flat a lot better because that's 5 yards down the line of scrimmage. So this is one way I like to do it. Another way, I play around manning with this safety up here. Sometimes I'll man him into this slot guy. Sometimes I'll man it onto the tight end. But the thing you have to be wary of is that you're leaving now this part of the field open. So you have to cover that with your user in some way, or make it a further adjustment to kind of fill that hole there. The reason I like this formation and this blitz in particular is it allows you to get really creative in the way your coverages. So for example here, I have a cover 3 look on this left side of the field, but on this right side of the field, I have a cover 2 look with the manned up Micah Parsons. I have my outside corner in the hard flat, and then this guy in the deep half. You can simply do this all over the field. You have a lot of flexibility in the way that you can run your coverage. So this is why this play is really good online. You're seeing it everywhere. Is because this blitz is really consistent in terms of sending 4. And then the flexibility that the coverage shell offers you is really unmatched, to be honest, for a 4-man sending blitz. So this is going to be the first. Mainly though, when looking at the other plays in the formation, there's really nothing else that I'm going to be calling in 3-3-5 mint, because I could do everything that I really want to do. out of this play right here with the loop blitz. So like I can man everyone up if I wanted to. I could put everyone into a cover 9, cover 3 cloud. Like I can do that all myself, but I don't have that loop blitz in the other plays. So mainly in 3-3-5 man, you're really just going to be calling LB cross 3, show 2. So the next formation and play set that we're going to be going over is going to be out of nickel 3-3 stack, and it's going to be this cover 3 drop. This is also a really good base defense for feeling out your opponent. The way we run this here, we're going to go against random here. But the way we run this here is we're actually going to blitz our user. And the reason we're going to do this is because this game is programmed so that 3-man rushes are not going to get that many block sheds, but a 4-man rush is going to get significantly more block sheds. So for that reason, we're going to blitz our middle linebacker, our user. But the only negative to doing that is that you're no longer going to be able to switch stick. So that's just something to keep in mind. But this is a really good base defense because you're rushing 3 people, essentially, having 8 in coverage, and you're getting really good coverage behind it. You can also make adjustments to change the shell, but this is a really good base defense. So we're just going to let the quarterback hike this ball. This is a run play. It's also a really good run defense, but what I want to display here is you get really good block sheds. You get really good block sheds with just a 3-man rush, which is actually insane. Let's see if we can get one here. You see, like, we're already in the backfield. The quarterback had barely had any time to throw the ball, and we rushed 3 people, which is kind of insane. Like, you can also, there's a lot of flexibility in this one, being that it's in nickel. You have so many defensive backs on the field. You can put a coverage shell like this in the back. You can also do like a cover 4 look, cover 2 looks. They're all there. But the main part of this is you're going to be rushing 3, but you're tricking the game into thinking you're rushing 4, so you're going to be getting a really good pass rush. So this is really good trying to feel out your opponent and getting to know what he wants to do, and then you can flip into some of the other defenses, the one like LB cross 3, show 2, and then the other blitz that we're going to talk about in just a second. So the last and final formation that we're going to be covering in this 3-3-5 tight ebook is going to be out of 3-3-5 penny. And there's a variety of different looks and defenses you can run. The first version I'm going to show you is a 5-man blitz out of the saw blitz that you can get home pretty consistently. And then there are 4-man versions of this blitz that are going to get home less consistently, but are going to offer a little bit better coverage behind. So sometimes it could be a little bit more viable. But the first play is going to be saw blitz 3. You can also do this out of any play where they're sending 5 on the line of scrimmage, like for example, hot blitz, where you can audible out of it. Saw blitz, you can do it out of that's kind of it, to be honest. And then obviously the man blitz and saw blitz 1, but we're going to be doing saw blitz 3. And then for the opponent, we're just be calling a spread formation where they're sending 5 on route, so we can kind of display this a little bit better. But the way you're going to want to do this is pinch your D-line down, which is left on the D-pad, put it down, crash them down, and contain, and then just slightly move out these linebackers a little bit. And then take your user and just stand at the line of scrimmage. And you're going to get pretty consistent pressure a lot of the time. And you see there we get an A-gap, which is pretty good. But most of the time you're going to get one of these containing linebackers to just come home untouched on the outside, which is kind of the pressure we're intending for here. Like there, it does get blocked again. I mean, actually give up a big scramble. But I'm going to see if I can get this pressure to show the way I kind of intended to. For some reason, I feel as if practice is a kind of a bad way to show off blitzes because it's kind of like different from the games and the way it works. Right there, we get another A gap. It's kind of, once again, not what we're intending for, but online, trust me, you're going to get this edge pressure more often than not, and it's just going to be really uncomfortable pockets for your opponents. So like right there, that's exactly the way it's supposed to look. That left linebacker on the left of screen there is just going to come home unblocked. We changed nothing. The opponent was calling the same play, but for whatever reason, the blocking behavior was a little different. You can just see that the left tackle there just completely ignores this linebacker, and we get home untouched. That's the way it's going to look a lot of the time. But the really great thing is that you can do this with a 4-man rush. And now I don't know if I'll be able to do it in practice mode because I think the blocking behaviors are a little bit different, but we're going to try to nonetheless. The way you're going to do it out of a 4-man rush versus a 5-man rush It's going to be completely the same setup in terms of crashing your D-line down, pinching them, and then just containing on that left side. See, like there, he's going to pick him up. But a lot of the time, you're going to get pretty decent pressure anyway. But this blitz does come home. We're going to try standing right here in front of the guard. If that changes anything, and it doesn't. Like right there, it was a perfect example of how the 4-man rush works the exact same as the 5-man rush. It's not going to come home every time, but out of a 4-man coverage, if you can just get an unblocked guy just completely screaming off the edge, that's going to put your opponent in some really tough situations where they're really not expecting pressure. Now they're in a 2nd and 20, a 3rd and 20, something like that. So having this blitz in your back pocket is definitely something that can be really useful for you guys. So that's going to be it for this mini defensive guide. 3 plays there that I find really useful. There are a lot of more plays you can call in this playbook. Pinch blitz 0, Saul blitz 1 out of this 3-3-5 penny, nickel 3-3 over. There's some 3-3 stack. There's obviously a double mug as well. So if you guys want to see a part 2 to this video where I continue on covering different defenses that I do run online, make sure you like the video, comment down below, let me know that. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you guys can, please support the channel. These videos take a little bit longer to make, where I'm kind of breaking stuff down, really talking about what I'm thinking about. So if you guys can, like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy Tether, and I'm out of here.